guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to review the movie Body Chemistry Full Exposure that came in 1995. And today we are going to be doing its overview of this movie. So let's start with this erotic thriller action crime movie, and it's directed by Fred Olen Ray, and it's starring. If we talk about its starring, then it's David Brandley, Sybil Danning, Michael Nunn. And let's talk about its plot summary. The film centers around Dr. Lee Science, a scientist working on advanced human enhancement techniques. Her experiments involves manipulating the human body and mind, which attract dangerous clandestine interest. As her work progresses, she becomes entangled with a secret government conspiracy, dangerous criminal series of extreme action-packed sequences. And if we talk about themes and style, the film combines elements of erotism, science fiction, and thriller genres. It features a mixture of sensual scene and action sequence typical of mid-90s B movies. And the film combines elements of erotism, science fiction, and thriller genres. It features a mixture of sensual scenes and action sequences typical of mid-90s B movies. The movie emphasizes body transformation, manipulation, and the ethical dilemmas surrounding human enhancement. If we talk about reception and facts, the film is part of the Body Chemistry series, which is known for its blend of erotic content and science fiction themes. It's considered a low-budget, campy B movie with a focus on detail and action. If we talk about cult following among fans of 90s erotic thrillers and campy sci-fis. And if we talk about its more longer review, then let's talk about its in-depth overview of Body Chemistry Full Exposure that came in 1995. If we talk about its genre, it's erotic thriller action sequence fiction crime. Its director was Fred Olen Ray, and as I said before, this is starring David Bradley, Sibling, Danny, Mikkel, Nori, and other supporting cast members. If we talk about plot summary, body exposure, full exposure, body chemistry, full exposure is a science fiction erotic thriller that explores themes of human enhancement, body manipulations, and clandestine government experiments. The story revolves around Dr. Lisa Hansen, a talented scientist specializing in human psychology and bioengineering, who is working on groundbreaking experiments aimed at enhancing human capabilities and physical appearance. The research is funded by mysterious government agencies and private corporations, which have darker motives behind their interest. As Dr. Hansen delves deeper into her experiments, she uncovers sinister truths about her work, including unethical human trials, mind control, and illegal genetic modification. Amidst the backdrop of secret government operation, Dr. Hansen finds herself targeted by powerful enemies who want to control her research for their own ends. The story unfolds through a series of suspenseful and streamy encounters, blending elements of action, betrayal, and seduction. The film showcases a mix of high-tech science and sensual scene, a hallmark of the series. If we talk about themes and artistic style, body modification and human enhancement, the central theme revolves around transforming the human body, pushing biological boundaries and questioning ethics surrounding such experiments. If we talk about eroticism and sensuality, true to its genre, the film features numerous sexual charged scenes, often intertwined with the plot to heighten tension and appeal to viewers interested in erotic thrillers. If we talk about science fiction and conspiracy, the movie explores secretive government projects, covert operation, and scientific experimentation, blending sci-fi elements with thriller tropes. If we talk about camp and B-movie charm characterized by low-budget production value, cheesy special effects, and over-the-top acting, the film has developed a cult following for its appeal. If we talk about production style, the film was directed by Fred Oliveri, known for his work in low-budget B-movie and exploitation filmmaking in the 80s and 90s. It features practical effect typical of the era, with some scene intentionally exaggerated on cam by for entertainment. And if we talk about reception and cultural impact, cult following, so Not critically acclaimed, body chemistry full exposure has gone niche audience that appreciated its campy charm, cheesy dialogue, and extremely scenes part of the series. It's one installment in the body chemistry series, which includes several spin-offs, each exploring similar themes with varying degrees of seriousness and entertainment value. Fans of cheesy sci-fi erotic enjoy the movie for its unintentional humor, over-the-top acting, and nostalgic design. If you talk about interesting facts, the film's director Fred Olendre is known for working quickly and on the budget, often blending genres to maximize entertainment. Simultaneing a well-known actress in B-movies and exploitation films starts with the film and adds star power to the cast. The film combines elements of action, sci-fi, and erotica, making it a typical example of 90s blending B-movies. If we talk about somebody, body chemistry, full exposure is a quintessential 90s low-budget erotic sci-fi thriller that offers a mix of sex, science, and suspense. While it's not considered a cinematic masterpiece, it holds nostalgic appeal for fans of campy B-movies. It blends of body modification themes, clandestine government plots, and steamy scenes create a unique viewing experience that reflect the era's fascination, technology, and sexuality. If we talk about more, let's talk about its even more comprehensive analysis of body chemistry full exposure 1995 introduction and context. Body chemistry full exposure, its 1995 science fiction erotic thriller that exemplifies the B-movie genres. Quickie blends on science fiction, action, and sexuality, directed by Fred Olendre, a prolific filmmaker known for his low-budget exploitation films. The movie is part of the body chemistry series, which gained integrity for provocating content with science fiction concept. It reflects the mid-90s fascination with modification, genetic engineering, and ethical dilemmas surrounding human enhancement, all wrapped in a package of campy entertainment. This film, like others in the series, balances sensationalism with the tongue-in-cheek approach, making it a cult favorite among fans of cheesy sci-fi erotica. Its appeal lies not in high cinematic artistry but in its campy charm. Over-the-top plot twists and steamy scenes that push the boundaries of good taste. If we talk about its plot breakdown and narrative element, then firstly talk about main characters. Dr. Lisa Vincent, played by Saibul Lani, a brilliant but conflicted scientist specializing in human bioengineering. She is the protagonist whose moral dilemmas and scientific pursuit drive the narrative. If we talk about Agent Mark Taylor, played by David Varley, a government agent tasked with overseeing the screen project, but gradually becomes tangled in the consequences antagonist various shadows figures representing government agencies and clandestine cooperating seeking to exploit the reaches of power and profit. If you talk about the story arc, the film opens with Dr. Johnson working in a lab conducting experiments aimed at enhancing human physical and mental capabilities. Research involves manipulating DNA, creating superhuman subject and experiments with subject with body augmentation. The experiments are dangerous, controversial, and border unethical. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that her research has attracted the attention of powerful figures who want to control her work. These include the government, British, and corporate villains, leading to a series of covert operations, betrayal, and fights. Throughout the film, Dr. Hansen faces moral dilemmas about the ethics of her work, the risk involved, and the potential for misuse. Her interactions are often laced with sensual undertones, emphasizing the film's dual focus on sexuality and science. It offers climactic sequence. The climax involves a daring escape or confronting with the villains and the unleashing of her final, most experimental body modification, which resulted in a dramatic transformation scene. The film concludes ambiguously, leaving open the possibility of further experiment and moral questions about the future of human enhancement. If we talk about themes and symbolism, body autonomy and ethics, the film explores the ethical implications of manipulating the human body, raising questions about consent, morality, and the boundaries of scientific experiment. If we talk about power and control, The desire of government and corporate entities to control human genetics reflects broader fears about loss of personal freedom and the abuse of scientific power. We talk about sexuality and power dynamics. Erotic scenes serve multiple purposes: titanian character development and symbolic representation of body autonomy. These scenes often depict power struggles, seduction, and domination. Toward progress versus morality, the film pits technological progress against moral consideration, highlighting the double-edged sword of scientific advancement. If we talk about technical and artistic style, cinematography, the visual style is typically of mid-90s low-budget films with practical effect, tight framing, and a focus on highlighting the physical features of character, often emphasizing sensuality. Talk about effect and makeup, special effects are minimal but effective within the budget, often involving practical prosthetics and lighting to suggest body alteration. Cover music and soundtrack. The soundtrack features synthly heavy atmospheric music that enhances the futuristic yet campy tone of the movie. Our dialogue and the script. The script is filled with cheesy lines, melodramatic dialogue, and exaggerated scenario, all contributing to its cult appeal. It over performance and fast. Cyberdyning, a genre icon known for her work in exclamation film. She brings stylish can be charmed to her role as Dr. Hansen, embodying both intelligence and seduction. If we talk about David Bradley, portrays a tough, morally conflicted agent with a mix of action hero, bravado, and vulnerability. If we talk about supporting cast, feature a range of caricature, villains, scientists, and agents, all contributing to the over-the-top reception and legacy. While body chemistry full exposure was not a critical success and was generally dismissed by mainstream critics, it has achieved a cult status among fans of 90s B-movies, sci-fi, erotica, and camp cinema. Its campy dialogue, cheesy effect, and the provocative scenes have made it a favorite for midnight screening, the nostalgic viewing. If we talk about impact, Spawn sequel and spin-off that continued exploring the themes of body modification and science fiction erotica. Influenced later low-budget sci-fi and erotic thrillers, maintaining its place as a nostalgic relic of 90s genre filmmaking. If you talk about cultural significance and fan perspective, the film is often celebrated for its unintentional humor, over-the-top acting, and unbiased fans appreciate it as a nostalgic piece that captures the era's fascination with body modification, cyberpunk themes, and erotic horror. It also serves as a reflection of the era's technology anxieties and the cultural obsession with physical perfection. If we talk about additional facts and trivia, the film was shot on a modest budget, with many scenes filmed in quick days. Fred Olin, the director, is known for working across multiple genres, often blending horror, sci-fi, and erotic content to maximize audience appeal. Cyberdyne's presence in the film added a level of star power and credibility within the exploitation genre. The movie features several scenes that have become iconic among fans for their campy and provocative content. If we talk about conclusion, body chemistry full exposure stands as a quintessential example of 90s low budget science fiction. In India, its blend of body modification themes, secret government plots, the sensual scenes creates a unique viewing experience, one that emphasizes entertainment over realism. Its campy, cheesy charm ensure it plays in the pantheon of cult. Vivo is appreciated for its audacity, nostalgia, and unapologetic campiness. If we talk about more, and now let's talk about its ultimate in-depth analysis of body chemistry full exposure 1995. Let's start with introduction and historical context. Body chemistry full exposure is a quintessential product of mid-1990s slow budget science fiction erotica directed by Fred Hollander, a filmmaker known for his prolific output of exploitation, horror, and skyscrapers. This film is part of the body chemistry series, which became cult staple in the realm. Film is known for combining cheesy special effect, campy dialogue, and steamy scenes to create an international over-the-top viewing experience. The 1990s was a fertile era for niche genres films, especially those blending sci-fi and erotica driven by growing technological anxieties, fascination with body modification, cyberpunk aesthetics, and desire to push conventional boundaries of sexuality and science. Body chemistry plus exemplifies these trends, reflecting social fears of fascinations with the potential of genetic engineering, body augmentation, and through the personal battle. If we talk about extended plot synopsis, first of all, setting and advance the film is set near future dystopian world where science and technology and advance rapidly, but ethical oversight remains questionable. The atmosphere combines clinical laboratory environments with dark, shadowy government facilities, emphasizing secrecy and clandestine operations. The workload details the story centers around Dr. Lisa Hanson's cyberdyning, a brilliant scientist working on revolutionary experiments aimed at improving human physical and mental capacities through genetics manipulation and body augmentation. Her work involves pushing the boundaries of human biological with the ultimate goal of creating supremes. Her experiments involves injecting subject with experimental DNA sequence, performing body modification, and testing mental enhancement. The process often involves sensual and erotic scenes designed to symbolize the intimate connection between body transfer and sexuality. As experiment progress, Dr. Hansen uncovers a web of conspiracy involving government agencies and private corporations seeking to weaponize research. These entities want to control the scientific breakthrough or military purpose, leading to covert operation, double crosses, and violent confrontation. The film reaches a climax when Dr. Ansel herself undergoes an experimental procedure that results in a physical and psychological transformation. The scene involves a combination of special effects, prosthetics, and dramatic lighting to depict her metamorphosis. The ending leaves viewers contemplating the ethical implications of her work and the future of human evolution. If we talk about thematic deep dive, ethical dilemmas of bioengineering at its core, the film explores the moral questions surrounding genetics, manipulation, and body modification. It questions whether scientific progress should be pursued at the expense of personal morality and human dignity. The character grapple with the consequences of their actions, often facing unintended side effects and moral impact. If we talk about power and control, the narrative underscore how powerful entities, government, and corporation seeks to control human biology for their own ends. This reflects social fears of loss of autonomy, the rise of biotech, oligarchy, and the potential for science to be weaponized. Sexuality and the body is immediately intertwined with the thematic fabric of the scene of adoption, body modification, and transformation symbolizes the intimate connection between sexuality and physical identity. The film suggests that the body is both a site of empowerment and vulnerability. About science fiction as a social commentary. By depicting a future where body modification is routine but ethically flawed, the film serves as cautionary tale about unchecked technology advances and moral oversight. If we talk about character analysis, Dr. Lisa Hanson's cyberlearning, charismatic and intelligent scientist. Jennings' character embodies a conflicted heroine caught between scientific curiosity and moral responsibility. Her character draws on the archetype of the femme fatale, combining seduction with intelligence. Her transformation scene symbolizes her ultimate rejection of social constraints, embracing her new body and identity. talk about character analysis, Dr. Lisa Hanson's cyber learning, a charismatic and intelligent scientist running characters embodies a conflicted encounter between scientific curiosity and moral responsibility. Her character was on the archetype of the family figure combining seduction with intelligence. Her transformation scene symbolizes her ultimate rejection of social constant, embracing for new body and identity. Talk about Agent Mark Tyler. David Bradley, a typical action hero, archetype talent tasked with overseeing the project, immediately becomes sympathetic to Hanson's life. His character embodies the moral dilemma of whether to follow orders or to stand up for ethical principles. If we talk about antagonist, the shadowy government and corporate figure are depicted as caricatures of greed and power, often engaging in replicated villainous behavior. Their greed and desire for control serve as critic of real world exploitative practice. Talk about visual and technical elements. Cinematography is employs standard low budget techniques with tight framing, practical effects, and minimal location shooting. Lighting is often stark, emphasizing the clinical tone of the laboratory scene, while sensual scenes are lit to enhance the erotic atmosphere. If we talk about effect and visual practical effect, prosthetics and makeup are used to damage the body modification, genetic alienation, and transformation seen. While limited by budget, these effects add to the campy charm of the film. If we talk about sound and music, the soundtrack features synthesized music combining 90s sci-fi film greeting and atmospheric but chilling sound effects are exaggerated, especially during transformation scene, enhancing the theatrical dialogue and script. The dialogue is deliberately melodramatic, filled with CG lines that can be tone. Money scenes is relaxed. Position heavy conversation about science and ethics, delivered with earnestness that adds to the film's performance and cast. Cyber learning as Dr. Hanson, she exudes confidence and charisma, bringing a mix of sex appeal and intelligence. Her performance balances camp serious, making her a memorable cult figure. If we talk about performance and cast, Simon Lanning and Dr. Hanson, um, she exudes confidence and charisma, bringing bringing a mix of sex appeal and intelligence. Her performance balances camp and seriousness, making her a memorable cult figure. If we talk about David Bradley, who plays Agent Taylor with a combination of toughness and vulnerability, embodying the timing reaction hero with a slightly exaggerated flair. If we talk about supporting cast, include caricature, music scientist, and comment presents, all adding to the film's over-the-top tone. If we talk about cultural impact and legacy, cult following despite poor reviews from critics, the film has gained a dedicated fan base appreciative of its camp value, cheesy facts, and nostalgic appeal. It's often featured in midnight movie screening and is beloved for its unintentional humor. Talk about influence. The film influenced a range of similar low-budget sci-fi erotica of era. inspiring sequels and spin-offs. It's frequently cited as an example of 90s genre filmmaking that embraced its campy sensational edge. If we talk about nostalgia and fandom can celebrate the film for its cheesy dialogue, over-the-top scene, and campy aesthetic. It's often viewed as a nostalgic relic that captures the era world of technological fear and sexual liberation. If we talk about behind the scenes trivia, actor Fred Olandre, known for working quickly with limited budget, they often used practical effects, the minimal sets, relying on camera tricks to suggest larger scale filming location, primarily shot in Los Angeles with scenes set in laboratories, offices, and underground facilities. If we talk about Sybil Denning's role, her star power and credibility, her career in exploitation and sci-fi films made her a nature fit. If we talk about sequel and spin-offs, the biochemistry series include multiple installments, each exploring related themes with verifying degrees of camp and seriousness. If we talk about the summary and final thoughts, body chemistry full exposure is a quintessential example of 90s low budget exploitation cinema blending science fiction, erotica, and action into a package brimming with camp scenes and nostalgia. Its theme of body autonomy, ethical dilemmas, and power dynamics remains relevant even if presented through a deliberately cheesy lens. While it's not a film for high art or cinematic excellence, it offers a fascinating glimpse into the era's cultural anxieties and creative experimentation. Its enduring popularity among cult film fans is a testament to its unique charm, audacity, and unapologetic camp. If you don't want more, yes, you can. So now let's talk about the ultimate deep dive into body chemistry full exposure that we have with 1995. First talk about its introduction again, the cultural and genre landscape. Body chemistry full exposure emerges from the fertile of 1990 low budget Genre filmmaking period marked by rapid technological change and social debates about body autonomy, genetic engineering, and sexuality. The film belongs to the niche subgenre of spy piloting, a hybrid that combines speculative science fiction concept with sweet adult content, often with a tongue in cheek or campy tone. If we talk about Fred Ollenry, the director is a central figure in this landscape, known for his prolific output of weak movies that often blend horror, sci-fi, and exploitation elements. His films are characterized by resourceful use of limited budget, creative practical effects, and a penchant for sensation. If we talk about storytelling, what he chemistry plus is emblematic of his style and intentionally cheesy over the top film that has gained cult status over time. The film also taps into the cinema's preoccupation with body modification, cyberpunk aesthetics, and ethical dilemmas in sense of both real and correct humanity. And if we talk about extended approach synapses and technical structure, first talk about setting and atmosphere. The film is set in a near future dystopia where advances in biotechnology have become a double-edged sword. Hypnotize government facilities and clandestine bunkers are depicted with minimal but effective set design, emphasizing clinical satire environment juxtaposed with darker shadows, corridors symbolizing secrecy and enigma. If we talk about main plot points, introduction of Dr. Lisa Henson, a brilliant and charismatic scientist specializing in bioengineering, working on a top secret project to enhance human abilities. The experimentation research involves manipulating DNA using cutting edge that fictional technology to modify physical and mental attributes would seem that real life the essential and intimate nature of body transformation. The conspiracy, government ambitions, and private cooperation are about a vague attempt to seize controls, leading to clandestine operations, disputes, and ethical conflicts global transformation and climate. Hence, herself become a subject of her experiments undergoing dramatic physical and psychological metamorphoses that symbolizes liberation and getting against control. And if we talk about the thematic analysis, ethical boundaries, and body autonomy, the primary themes revolves around the moral limits of scientific experimentation. Lawrence embodies a conflicted scientist torn between and the pursuit of knowledge and the ethical consequences of our work questions whether humans should manipulate their bodies and genetic makeup without regarding for its If we talk about power and corruption, the film depicts how powerful entities, government, and corporations seek to explore scientific breakthrough for personal gain at the expense of individual rights. The narrative warns of a future whereby autonomy is compromised by greed and authoritarian control. If we talk about sexuality as a symbol of liberation and control, sexual scenes are not merely for titillation, they symbolize the intimate relationship between physical autonomy and sexual identity. Transformation scenes often include sensual elements symbol of liberation and control. Sexual scenes are not merely for titillation, they symbolize the intimacy and relationship between physical autonomy and sexual identity. Transformation scenes often include sensual elements, emphasizing the body as both a site of power and vulnerability. Talk about human enhancement and transhumanism. The film taps into early transhumanist ideas, enhancing human capabilities beyond natural limits while raising questions about identity, consciousness, and what it means to be human. If we talk about science fiction as a social critique, by exaggerating the potential abuses of biotech, the movie comment on contemporary social fears about genetic privacy, eugenics, and the moral responsibilities of scientists. We talk about character deep dive and downdive. Dr. Lisa Hanson, Cyberden, personality and traits, intelligent, charismatic, morally conflicted, and fiercely independent. We talk about role and development, initially a scientist driven by curiosity, her character arc involves embracing transformed body and identity, symbolizing liberation from social construct. If we talk about iconic movement, transformation scene where she fully embraces her new body, showcase her confidence and likeness. We talk about Agent Mark, Tyler, David, Bradley, personality and traits, tough principles, slightly cynical but ultimately sympathetic, role and development act as the moral compass, torn between following orders and doing what's right. His involving relationship with Hanson adds emotional depth. To talk about iconic moments, confrontation with the villains and moments of questioning toward antagonists, government, and corporation figures. Characterization over the top, critical self-pity, manipulation, and villainous serving as a critic of exploitative institutions. And if we talk about motivations, power, control, and profit at the expense of human rights. Talk about visual and technical aspects, cinematography, and light. Talk about uses, stock, that is to emphasize clinical environments and sensual scenes. Close-up highlights physical features and transformational effect. Create camera angle scenes can be surreal atmosphere, special effect and prosthetics. About practical effect include prosthetics, gives body modification, and genetic alteration seeds. Limited CGI use sparingly, mostly for transformation sequence. If effects are intentionally added to the film's soundtrack and audio design. Synth-heavy atmospheric music, high-end sci-fi mood, toward sound effect during transformation scenes are exaggerated, adding a theatrical flair. If we talk about dialogue delivery, it's melodramatic, emphasizing campfire. If we talk about performance and casting, simultaneous genre icon whose commanding presence elevates the film, balancing seduction with intelligence. David Bentley plays action hero with exaggerated bravado, embodying a typical of 90s hero archetype. If we talk about supporting cast, feature caricature villains and scientists are playing into the film's intentionally campy tone. If we talk about cultural significance and fan reception, cult classic status despite being critically panned, the film has received cult fame thanks to its cheesy dialogue, over the top scenes, and campy aesthetics. It's frequently screened at midnight movies events and appreciated for its nostalgic values. If we talk about influence and legacy, the films inspired sequels and spin-off that continues exploring themes of body modification, science fiction, and erotism. It remains a favorite among fans of global exploitation cinema. And if we talk about nostalgia and fan culture, fans celebrate body chemistry, flex visual for its unintentional humor, campy effect, and audacious content. It's regarded as a quintessential relic of mid-90s genre filmmaking that embodies the era's experimental spirit. And if we talk about behind the scene and trivia, director Fred Olendre, known for shooting quickly and creativity, or limited budget, often using practical effect to maximize visual effect. And if we talk about filming location, primarily shot in Los Angeles, utilizing small sets and location. If we talk about simultaneous role, star power, and genre experience added credibility, making her a natural fit. And if we talk about sequel and series, the body chemistry series include multiple installments, each exploring different facets of body modification and bioengineering. And if we talk about in-life scene highlights, first talk about opening scene. Sets the tone with a laboratory montage showcasing the experimental procedures intertwined with sensual visuals, establishing the fusion of science and sexuality. We talk about transformation scene. Shannon undergoes her own experiments with prosthetic limbs and makeup effects depicting her physical metamorphosis. The scene is exaggerated with dramatic lighting and the synth-heavy soundtrack. talk about climatic confrontation, a high octane showdown involving physical alteration, genetic enhancement, and a daring escape limits with Hansen's full minutes of transport identity. If we talk about closing scene, ambiguous and thought-provoking hinting at ongoing experiments at future transformation, leaving the audience pondering the ethical boundaries of science. In terms of summary and final reflection, particular exposure is more than just cheesy sci-fi film. It's a reflection of the era's anxieties, hopes, and cultural taboos surrounding body modification, sexuality, and technological progress. It's can be aesthetics. It can be aesthetic, exaggerated effect, and melodramatic performances have cemented its status as a cult classic. While it may lack in cinematic fitness, it offers a unique window into 90s genre filmmaking, bold, unpretentious, and unapologetically daring. Its enduring appeal lies in its ability to entertain, provoke, and evoke nostalgia, making it a must-see for fans of campy sci-fi and social cinema. Let's talk more about its review. If we talk about the definitive in-depth exploration of body chemistry, full exposure like 1995, let's start with the introduction, contextualizing the film in genre and culture. body chemistry reflects resistance as an emblematic artifact of mid-90s novel science fiction erotica, a time when filmmakers exploited and burgeoning interest in cyberpunk's body modification and trans-aggressive sexuality. The film exemplifies the era's tendency to merge spectacularity science with central themes, often with a tongue-in-cheek or campy approach, creating a product that is both provocative and hilariously cheesy. We talk about Fred Polanyi. The director is a prolific figure in exploitation cinema who specialized in crafting films that push boundaries while working within tight budgets. His signature style involves resourceful use of practical effect, minimal set, and sensational storytelling elements that are vividly on display in this film. The cultural landscape of 1990s was rife with anxieties and fascination about the future of humanity, particularly concerning genetics, engineering, cybernetic enhancement, and the loss of bodily autonomy. Body chemistry full exposure can be read as a cinematic reflection of these social debates accelerated into pulp horror, sci-fi, and erotica. And if we talk about comprehensive plot breakdown and narrative flow, if we talk about setting and atmosphere, the film is set against a backdrop of dystopian near-future society where biotech corporations and government agencies conduct clandestine experiments. The aesthetics is intentionally sterile clinical laboratories with a stark lighting, metallic surface, and minimalistic decor, conveying a sense of scientific detachment. Interspersed are scenes with shadowy corridors and secretive underground facilities, pioneering the sense of conspiracy and danger. And if we talk about plot progression, introduction of Dr. Lisa Hanson as a intelligent scientist working on cutting-edge bioengineering project. Her laboratory is a hub of activity filled with bubbling test tubes, genetic sequencing equipment, and models of human anatomy. If we talk about the experimental program, Hansel is developing a revolutionary techniques to enhance physical and mental capabilities through genetics modification. Early scenes showcase her working with volunteers, often in sexuality SARS contests, highlighting the interactions of science and sexuality. If we talk about conspiracy and conflict, government official and corporate undercover agent infiltrate her lab, introducing scenes of espionage, double crosses, and covert operations. Benefit of Hanson's personal transformation was Hanson herself becoming a test subject undergoing dramatic physical and psychological metamorphosis, and the transformation scenes feature prosthetics, makeup, and costume effect accompanied by a tense synth-driven soundtrack. And if we talk about resolution and ambiguous ending, Nancy emerges transformed, embodying the new possibilities of human evolution. The film ends with a provocative scene or dialogue that questions the morality of scientific progress, leaving the audience pondering the future of body autonomy. And if we talk about narrative style and all, the film employs melodramatic dialogue and clear acting and campy humor, which scene often warning or parody its pacing is brisk with scenes that oscillate between tension, sensuality, and comedy. If we talk about thematic deep dive and symbolism, ethical dilemma of bioengineering and genetic manipulations, the core themes revolves around the moral ambiguity of scientific experimentations on the human body. The film questions whether the pursuit of enhancement is worth sacrificing natural human limits, highlighting the potential for abuse and unintended consequences. If we talk about power control and exploitation, the film depicts how powerful institutions, government, and corporations seek to control human biology for their own ends. There reflects the social fears of losing personal autonomy and becoming commodities in the biotech marketplace. If we talk about sexuality and body autonomy and liberation, transformation and experiments are often intertwined with sensual scenes symbolizing liberation from social constraint. Conversion, these scenes also highlighting vulnerability and emphasizing the lobby as a site of both empowerment and exploitation. We talk about transhumanism and humanity's future. The film explores early transhumanist ideas enhancing human capabilities beyond nature limits, raising questions about identity, consciousness, and what it means to be human in a world of genetic manipulation, and science fiction as social critic. By exaggerating biotech abuse, the film functions as a cautionary tale about unregulated scientific progress, echoing contemporary debates about eugenics, genetic privacy, and bioethics. And if we talk about character profiles and archetypes, Dr. Lisa Hanson's high-leaning personality and traits, confident, charismatic, morally conflicted, fiercely independent, overworked character, from a dedicated scientist to a liberated being who fully embraced the transformed body, symbolizing the rejection of social constraints. If we talk about iconic movements, transformation scene where she shades her former identity become a symbol of rebellion against control. talk about visual and stylish elements, cinematography and lighting utilize high contrasting lighting to emphasize clinical settings, close-up shots during transformation scenes, highlights for prosthetics and makeup effects, creative film during sensual scene enhancement, the campy, surreal atmosphere. If we talk about special effect and prosthetics, practical effect including prosthetics, limbs, body modification, and genetic alternation effects. Use of minimal CGI mainly for transformation sequences, exaggeration, and deliberately cheesy effects. Makeup emphasizes the grotesque and beautiful, often blending both in single shot. Sound and music sound heavily soundtrack in 2019. The Sky-Fi film score high-end futuristic atmosphere, exaggerated sound during transformation scenes add theatrical elements. If we talk about dialogue delivery, it's exaggerated, enhancing the film's camp appeal, and if we talk about performances and casting highlights. The simultaneing her commanding screen presence elevates the film, balancing heroism with intelligence. Performances can be charismatic. If we talk about David Barley plays action hero with exaggerated bravado, embodying the stereotypical 90s male protagonist. Supporting, if we talk about supporting cast, feature caricature villains, scientists, and agents, adding to the film's intentionally campy tone. About cultural impact and fan legacy. If we talk about cult status, despite negative reviews from critics, the film has cemented its status as a cult classic among exploitation and sci-fi fans. It's frequently screened at midnight movies events, appreciated for its cheesy effect, campy dialogue, and nostalgic appeal. If we talk about influence and inspiration, the film inspired sequels and a series of small similar movies exploring themes of body modification, bioengineering, and sexuality, solidifying its place in low-budget sci-fi erotica history. If we talk about fan community and nostalgia, fans celebrated its unintentional humor, over-the-top scene, and audacious content. It's regarded as a quintessential relic of 90s genres filmmaking, bold, daring, and unapologetically campy. If we talk about behind the scene, fact and trivia, Director uh, Fred Olen is known for shooting rapidly with limited resources, often relying on inventive practical effect and camera tricks. If we talk about film location, primarily shot in Los Angeles, utilizing small set and minimal location simultaneous involvement and presence added star power and her experience in exploitation films lend credibility. If we talk about sequels and series, the body chemistry franchise includes multiple installments, each exploring different facets of bioengineering and transformation. If we talk about in-depth scene analysis and highlights, if we talk about opening scenes, features laboratory montage with bubbling test tubes and central visual setups, the fusion of science and sexuality stabilizing the tone. And if we talk about transformation scene, Hansa undergoes her own experiments with prosthetics, makeup, and special effects depicting her physical metamorphosis accompanied by dramatic lighting and synth soundtracking emphasizing her liberation. And if we talk about conclusion and final reflection, body chemistry full exposure is a quintessential cult film on amalgamation of science fiction, erotica, camp, and satire. It reflects social anxieties about body autonomy, technology progress, and ethical boundaries exaggerated into an entertaining spectacle. Violence often dismissed as cheesy or campy. Its enduring appeal lies in its audacity and unintentional humor. It remains a fascinating artifact of 19th all daring and endlessly entertaining for fans of campy sci-fi and exploitation cinema. If we talk about more, then let's go for it. Let's talk about its ultimate in-depth analysis and exploration of the movie. Body chemistry full exposure that came in 1995, and if we talk about introduction, contextual background and genre significance, body chemistry full exposure is a quintessential example of 1990s low budget sci-fi and sci-fi erotica, a film that combined speculative biotechnological themes with explicit adult content wrapped in campy, over-the-top packages. The film belongs to a niche subgenre that blurs the lines between science fiction, horrors, and exploitation films driven by the era's fascination with body modification, cyberpunk aesthetics, and Transgressive sexuality, video directed by Fred Olin Ray, a prolific filmmaker known for his resourcefulness and global ingenuity. The film exemplifies the spirit of exploitation cinema. His films often feature exaggerated performances, sketchy effects, and the sensationalized are designed to entertain, shock, and the mid-90s social backdrop was characterized by a mix of technological optimism and fear. Debates over genetic engineering, cybernetics, and bodily autonomy were prevalent. Body chemistry, uh, exposure taps into these anxieties through hyperbolic storytelling, creating a wild, provocative narrative that also offers a satirical commentary on unsexed scientific theories. If we talk about extensive plot synopsis and structural breakdown, if we talk about setting and atmosphere, the film is set within a dystopian near future universe characterized by slick satire, liberties, shadow government facilities, and clandestine biotech labs. The aesthetic is intentionally minimalistic but effective. Metallic surface bright for fluorescent and shadowy corners evoke a clinical yet sinister environment. If we talk about narrative arc and storytelling, introduction to Dr. Lee Shannon, a charismatic, brilliant scientist specializing in bioengineering and genetic. Her laboratory is depicted as a hub of innovation and experimentations with scenes featuring her working with DNA sequence, genetic sample, and high octane equipment. And if we talk about the experiment focus, Hanson's research aims to develop a serum of process capable of enhancing human physical and mental capabilities. The scene juxtaposes the clinical procedure with sensual overtones. Scene of her administering experiments that involve nudity, suggestion, touch, and provocative camera angles. The conspiracy and power struggle, government agents, and corporate overlords seek to hijack her research for their own sinister purpose. Military armaments and mind control are prohibited over clandestine meeting, espionage, and double crosses unfold as Hansen fight to maintain control of her work. If we talk about her, the transformation and climatic revelation, Hansen becomes test subject herself undergoing a physical and psychological transformation. The scene is a usual spectacle of prosthetic effect, makeup, and special effects, deliberately cheesy but effective within its budget constraints. So it was the review of this movie. I hope you like it, and if there was any mistake and any problem, then I apologize for that. Sorry for that, and thank you for watching. Goodbye. Let's meet.